Değerli spor izleyenleri, Fenerbahçe Beko'nun salonundayız şu anda ve playoff öncesi özel bir misafirimiz var. Talen Horton-Tucker'la beraberiz. Welcome Taylor. Thank you for your time before the playoffs.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I want to start this interview with your Chicago times. Before I talk about the playoffs and Fenerbahçe, of course. How was your Chicago times? Because I know that you were born here and you got the chance to play there for a year. How did you feel when you went to Chicago Bulls?
It was a dream come true. Just being able to, go back home and play in front of my family and friends and a lot of people that, was a part of my, journey and success to get to where I'm at now. Was definitely good. So, I was happy I got to experience that.
There are some legends from there, like Derrick Rose. Do they have any effect on your basketball?
Definitely. Just because of the fact that, Derrick Rose from Chicago too, just like me, went to the same high school. And, he basically did everything that every Chicago kid wanted to do. Grow up, play for the Bulls, and be pretty much a superstar in the NBA at a point in time. So it definitely was a factor in my career, and it definitely helped me get to where I was at.
And also we know that Bobby Dixon, a legend here in Fenerbahçe, is also like a big brother to you from your Chicago times, not the Bulls, not the NBA, but your streets.
Yeah.
So did you call him before coming here?
Yeah, he, just talking to him, I've known Bobby my whole life pretty much and just been around him, followed his journey. Growing up, I just understood he played in Europe, but I didn't know too much about it back then. But as I got older, I started understanding a little bit more. And then when they won the championship, I started to, pay attention a little bit more. So I was around 16, 17 around that time. So that's when I first started hearing the name Fenner and things like that. So he reached out to me too, just, letting me know that, I was going to be going to a historic club and a club with a lot of history and, pretty much the best fan base in Europe. So being able to have, him in my ear definitely helped me make my decision coming over here a little bit easier.
Do you see him as an idol maybe?
As an idol for me?
Yes.
Of course. He's from the same neighborhood as me in Chicago. So, where we're from in Chicago, a lot of guys don't, make it to that level. So with me, him, and then another one of my family members that played professional basketball, making it to this level is definitely, idol-like for us.
So after several years in the NBA in the States, you came to Europe. What was your first impression coming here?
My first impression was just, seeing how much the fans care and how much, the game actually means over here. You always hear about how football is the main sport in Europe, but seeing that basketball has a big fan base and a big following is definitely good to see too. So I just like to see that it's growing.
And also there are some other players coming from overseas. Do you guys spend time together to get adjusted easier?
Yeah, like just some of the guys that, are coming from the States and coming over here, just, I've known them for a while too outside of, basketball. So just having a relationship with your teammates and, guys that you can relate to kind of helps you, get adjusted to things a little bit faster.
I saw that you and Nick Weiler-Babb were also from the same high school, if I'm wrong.
College. Yeah,
so
we were college
maybe
students.
he also came this year, so you guys spent time together?
Not too much time together, but, obviously with the season being, kind of hectic and schedules being tight. But, me and Nick are still pretty cool. We still, conversate when we see each other and, it's kind of always compete against each other. So it's good to, have another familiar face here.
And also, if we talk about the basketball parts of Europe, most of the people talk about pace, spacing, physicality, and tactics are harder than the NBA. Did you get adjusted to that easy? Because on the court, we can see that you get adjusted easier.
I definitely, I'm still learning, with it being my first year and the year fully not being over and having not experienced the playoffs yet. Can't really, speak too much on it, but it's definitely been an adjustment period, and it's definitely a lot tougher. The physicality, different, rules and things like that sometimes play a factor into that, but it's definitely a big adjustment for me.
And also, you came to a team which is trying to secure the championship, the last champions. So there are high expectations on this team. Did they scare you before coming here?
No. Playing on a team like this is exactly what I wanted. So didn't want to shy away from any challenge or any competition. I wanted to be able to play on a good team and be one of the best teams here. So going, through my first year, we obviously had a pretty good year, but had some up and downs at the end and in the beginning. So just, it's a part of the season. So just really trying to, get ready for this playoff run and, make the most of it.
We can see that you use those pull-ups of yours, I'm talking about the basketball part, very effective on the court. And do they make you like comfortable on the court when you do it?
You said pull-ups?
Yes. Like
just,
mid-range.
Yeah,
I mean.
I'm just starting to get a lot more comfortable shooting them a lot more. Obviously, like we know, the game here and the game in the NBA is a lot different. In the NBA, a lot of teams don't really want you taking midi pull-ups or things like that. But here, it's a little bit more crowded in the paint, so you have to take the easier shot that's open. So being able to kind of fall into that, mode of being able to be open to taking middies and taking mid-ranges is something that I like. And it just actually shows another part of your game. So it's pretty good.
Also in the NBA, we didn't see you shoot too many 3 points, but here you use those more.
I just, just trying to learn how to, navigate which threes to actually shoot. And, some games I could make 3 or 4, some games I could make 0. So just trying to find consistency in that. And just knowing and taking the right good shots and good threes are the things that I'm trying to get better at.
You break the paint a lot. I'm going to ask a question, but I want to ask it from the correct side. Like, I don't want you to misunderstand me. You get some offensive fouls sometimes from the other teams. You think it's a trap because they can't stop you breaking the paint?
I wouldn't say it's a trap, but it's definitely I know it's definitely in the scouting report to, if you can't foul me or, do something to take the ball, then just try to set a charge. But I think that's something that's definitely getting, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but it's almost like they're anticipating the call sometimes. So just knowing that I have a bigger body and I'm a bigger guard and I use my body pretty well, kind of get the bad end of those whistles. But just still learning how to, navigate through all of that, how to, not get as many offensive fouls because those kind of turnovers too. So I definitely just want to continue to get better. That's
the only way they can stop you, so they use it.
Yeah, I'll let you say that. But if it gets down to it, I know that now I can shoot pull-ups and now I could, do something else to try to not, pick up those fouls.
So if we talk about Fenerbahçe a little, the most important thing about Fenerbahçe is that the chemistry is known because you guys have the best defensive rating throughout the whole season. How do you create that in the locker room, inside the team, outside the court?
It really starts with our coaching staff. Just knowing that they're preparing us the right way and they're not giving us any information that's not going to work, and they've seen it work and seen it be done. So just starting off with them and then leading down to everybody having a selfless, mindset, and everybody knowing the roles that they need to play and exactly where they need to be on defense is something that, helps us a lot. And then just knowing the system and continuing to trust our teammates is something that is always going to, help just elevate our defense even more.
You think the defensive part is the thing that makes Fenerbahçe one of the most scariest teams?
Yeah, of course. Just because of the fact that, obviously we could be having a bad game offensively, but if we keep a team under 75 points or 70 points or under 80 points, I think we'll have a good shot any chance or any day of the week. So we know that's going to be hard, but, if we stick to our principles and do it the right way, we know we could do it. So we've seen it done.
So you guys were leading the season at the top throughout the season, but at the end, you had some struggles. It's okay, every team has that. But you think that finishing at the top is a curse because it's said so much?
I don't believe in it, but at this point, I'll like to say that. Just because of the fact that we didn't finish first. So obviously I wanted to finish first. We all wanted to, finish as high as we could. But now, with us finishing top 4 and still being able to get home court advantage was important. So it definitely, is going to be something that we, try to just, take and use to our advantage.
When you look at the play-in teams, maybe finishing at the top
isn't
that good?
Might have dodged a few bullets, but just seeing the playing team, seeing how competitive they are, we knew that it was going to be a challenge either way.
At the end, you ended the normal season with a win against as well. You think that makes the guys more confident before the playoffs because you weren't going so good, 1 out of 8?
Yeah, it's crazy that you say like we went 1 out of 8 because we went like 19-2 for like 2 months. So like hearing that and then going through that definitely make a locker room a little bit down. But especially getting the last win against Asvel was very uplifting. So everybody have a few high spirits going into the playoffs, and then obviously with Turkish League we still be able to play those games and use those games to kind of get better and work on what we need to work on. So it's definitely the vibes are pretty high right now. We've been having pretty good practices, getting after it, competing against each other, playing hard, and working on the right things. So it's pretty good.
In that losing stretch, you had some missing players, injuries. Like one of the most important defensive player of your team, Nicola Melli, was injured. I want to ask about him also. What do you think about his impact and leadership in the team?
It's great. Just having a guy like that that's kind of been through every position in Europe and also being a professional in the NBA as well. He has a lot of insight that us young players and, guys that are in first-year Europe players could actually feed off of and learn and just kind of watch and see the type of person that he is and see how he comes to work every day, doesn't complain, doesn't, care about, scoring the ball, just wants to do what is done for the team. So being, in a locker room with a guy like that that's selfless, it definitely helps uplift us. So he's very important to our team for sure.
Also, I want to ask about Wade Baldwin, of course, because you guys have a partnership at the backcourt. So how do you feel when you are on the court with him? How do you think about that partnership?
It's great. Just being able to, come here throughout the year. It could have been a time period where me and Wade didn't get along, but that was never, a thing. We never, envied each other. We never, showed that we weren't getting along or anything like that. We just kind of clicked, and as time got on, our relationship just kept getting better. And you kind of could see it on the court. So we both know that we are capable players, and we're 2 of the best guards in the EuroLeague. So we just want to continue to do that, and just hopefully it leads us to a championship.
Now it's the playoff season. It's going to start. And luckily you have some players who have been there a lot. So what do you think before the playoffs? How does a mindset of a team and a staff change?
It just locks in a little bit more. Makes you put your hard hat on. Give 120% if you was given 110. So just being able to kind of have those guys and a coach that's been battle tested is something that's going to help us, get to where we want to be ultimately.
What about Žalgiris? What do you think? Because Žalgiris has a coach that also your coach knows very closely from.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great matchup. They have good players. all EuroLeague guard and Sylvian Francisco, and the great coach of the year candidate too. So just seeing that, they almost have similar systems to us, and we play the same way. But just trying to, just try to limit them as much as we can, just because of the fact that we know they're gonna, score. We know they're gonna, be, very, anticipating on defense. So we just know it's gonna be a tough series. But I feel like if we are confident and we focus on the game plan and the way coaches and the coaching staff prepare us, I think we'll be in a good spot.
You feel extra pressure before the series starts?
I feel like, it's always pressure going into the playoffs, but, I feel like the best players come out in pressure, and the best coaches and best teams prevail in pressure. So if we're able to do that, I think we'll be in a good spot, to get to the Final Four.
Your coach, Sara Seskevicius, is one of the best basketball IQs in Europe right now. Having him on the team as your leader at the top make you feel more comfortable before the playoffs, because he's known as with his small tactics and small touches to the game?
Yeah, it definitely helps a lot. Just having a guy whose basketball mind is bright like that is definitely just a plus to have to any team. So I feel like he can make any team be almost a contender. But having a team like he has with us, we're very versatile. We have a lot of guys that can get the job done. So we're all bought into what we have going on also. So I think around this time we're just finally catching back up to stride and going to actually just touch the ceiling that we could have.
So before the series starts, do you have anything to say to the fans? Fenerbahçe fans, because they're going to be out here, home court advantage.
Yeah, we got to bring it. Just bringing the energy and bringing the vibe that we need to, you know, continue to play is going to just make us play even harder. We knew last game against Zagros, they had their own little fan section here, so we need to be louder than them, and we're gonna continue to do what we have to do to, you know, make sure that we come back and get a win. We just gotta take it game by game.
Let's see, hope so. Before I finish this interview, I want to ask about your career planning, but if you don't want to answer, it's okay. You have any plans going back to the NBA, or you're going to stay here and be a legend? I want to ask about this. Maybe it's too early to ask.
Yeah, I feel like it's too early. I want to focus on just, you know, staying here and winning the championship right here. I want to be where my feet are. When those situations come and all those, you know, decisions have to be made, I feel like I have the right people in my ear and my corner to help me, you know, make a positive decision. So, you know, I just want to focus on just staying here right now and winning the championship in this moment. And then, you know, whatever happens, we'll figure that out at a certain point in time.
You already adjusted to the European basketball. Why not stay here for another year?
You never know, man. But, you know, I just want to focus on just trying to get this job done this year, this right now. That's really just my main focus. That's what I wanted to do when I decided to come here, and finally being able to put ourselves and myself in this position to, you know, show why I came here is definitely on my mind more than anything.
Before the interview, we weren't recording, but you said not this year. If I don't win the MVP this year, maybe next year. So I'm getting my hopes up. I'm sorry.
I said maybe for a reason. You never know. So just being able to. Like I said, always you got to have confidence in yourself, and, you know, just always want to be able to, you know, if you don't have confidence in yourself, you're playing the wrong game. I've just noticed a lot more too. A lot of guys out here in Europe, they're a lot more like headstrong, and I don't want to use cocky, but they talk a lot, and I'm not one of those dudes. I like to just kind of let it go and let it show, and that's always just going to be the type of player that I am. So that's it.
We'll see. We hope so. Thank you for this interview. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate it.
And hope to see you before playoffs, after playoffs also.
For sure. Thank you.
Değerli spor izleyenleri, röportajımızın sonuna geldik. Teşekkür ederiz.